Presence was awakened this morning to his cell phone ringing off the hook. He nearly went into panic when he saw that it was his work cellular caller ID. He quickly tried not to think if he'd done anything wrong. He quickly dismissed the thought. He said, I didn't do anything wrong at work, did I? Okay. Hello? President Boderson? He said nervously. Yes, this is Valency Wager. Can you come in early today? We had a situation and we had to remove your manager from duties. Your credentials were very impressive and we need you to fill his position. The wager spoke of removing Present's manager so casually, he had to make sure he understood what he was hearing.
Sir, are you saying my manager has been fired? Did he do something wrong? Is he going to jail? Present spoke very quickly.
Yes, fired, gone, removed, and yes, in jail. Reached the limit. I must say it's a shame. Can you come in and possibly fill his position? The wager seemed a bit impatient.
Yes, I can, sir.
Before Present could finish speaking, he was cut off by the wager. Good. We'll see you soon. And that was all. Very abruptly, he hung up the phone. Present was stunned. In just a few short moments, he'd learned about his longtime friend since childhood had been fired and jailed. Present knew Matthew had just had a child and was newly married. He felt so bad. He wondered what he could have done to be jailed. He sat up in bed, now completely awake. Presence rolled over in bed softly. She asked without opening her eyes. Was that all? What was that all about, honey? It was work. Apparently they want me to come in early. It seems Matthew had been fired and jailed. Reached the limit, he said in a monotone. What? Now Presence was wide awake as well, her eyes opening big as she sat up to see her husband sitting on the edge of the bed, glaring at her. Both shared a similar look of disbelief. And this is both of the parents, Present and Presence. And this is their bedroom. They both got their badges on. You have to wear them all the time. They both had been to Matthew's wedding. The news was all but a bit too shocking. His poor wife and their child. What would they do without him? Oh, honey. Presence began to tear up, and Presence consoled her, unable to speak as he held his wife as she broke into tears. What if this happens to us? What will me and Precocious do? I can't imagine. That's it.
Don't imagine. Don't break any rules, my love, and this won't happen to us.
It was all Presence could come up with in response. He knew he had to be strong, and he knew his family needed strictness in order to stay from suffering the same fate. Presence showered, got dressed, and took breakfast on the go in order to quickly get to work. He ordered his wife not to speak of the matter to Precocious, and not to permit her to watch the news. He wanted to save her the heartache, even though he knew she would hear it out in the community. He raced to work and was greeted by a wager and led to the head wager's office. The Wager family was a very highly esteemed family in the city. In fact, the highest, and they held all positions of authority. Valency Wager was a tall, thin man. He had a sneered look on his face constantly. And when Presence walked in, he urged him to sit at the seat opposite his desk. You understand your manager was taken away. It appears he reached his limit. Upon coming into work this morning, his badge was scanned and he was taken away. He paused a second, then continued. Now we want to give you a manager position. Your scanned data states you're a good candidate. Not much of a rule breaker. In fact, a spotless record. Presence stared at Mr. Valency and did not know what to say. It was still a bit of a shock. Matthew, the new baby, the marriage.
Yes, sir, I try not to get in any trouble. I have a wife and a daughter here, and I love them very much, my whole life. He motioned to his heart.
Valency stared at Presence, unmoved by his sense of affection. He spun around in his chair to face the floor-to-ceiling window behind him and spoke to Presence once more. Yes, we all have families, but our main duty as wagers is to ensure order and harmony. This is a difficult task. Of course, if you accept the position, there is more responsibility that will be required of you. He spun back around in his chair to face Presence with the same grimace on his look on his face, unmoved and motionless as to the events of the morning.
Yes, sir, I'm aware of this. No problem, Presence said, hoping the fear inside of him was not revealed in his voice.
Good. I'll have one of the head waiters show you your new position, duties, and station quarters. Presence, please don't let me down. Valenci said in a direct tone. That meant no games. Presence spent the next few hours learning his duties and requirements and what would be expected of him. His mind kept wandering off to Presence and Precocious, wondering how they were doing, also wondering what they would do if he would go to jail. No doubts Presence could survive and take care of Precocious, but the thought made him dizzy. He hated when he got emotional. Emotions could lead to carelessness, and carelessness could lead to mistakes, and mistakes mean points. He snapped back into reality, telling himself to focus. What good would be if he were taken away also?